super excited you're here. You know, I was super excited to have your husband on, but Kristin, welcome. I'm so thankful. You know, there are certain people you meet and you're like, man, I just like them. I don't know about you, but sometimes, do you ever have this where it's really hard to find a couple that you really like, right? A lot of times it's like the girls like each other, the wives like each other, but then the husbands, not that they don't like each other, but they just don't click, or it's just,
they don't jive.
or
right?
husbands are friends and then you meet the wife and you're like, well, she's nice, but there's no connection. And so only one of the spouses hangs out. And when you like a couple, that's like bonus. And so we got on Zoom just for a little bit and I was like, oh, I like her. Now I know why Paul loves her so much. Aww. Yeah. So I'm super excited to share the mic with you today. But how I love to ask people, kick off the show is I'd love to hear moms, dads too, but you know, this is a podcast for women, is give me 2 words, start with your son, 2 words to describe your son.
Oh my God.
Like when you think Jace is his name, right?
Passionate. He's very passionate, like about whatever it is that he loves. I mean, he, you know, Legos, Minecraft.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 is hard. Only do 2.
Oh, spit out what comes to your mind. It could be 2, 4.
He's very loving. He is very loving. He's very go. I mean, he's just all wrapped up into.
Isn't it cool as they get older? Like as a baby, I don't think you see it so much, but as they get older, don't you find it cool? Sometimes I catch glimpses of, and I have 5 kids, I'll get glimpses of them like, oh my gosh, that's me. Or I'll go, oh gosh, that's their dad. Like that is spitting image, or that's a trait, and it's just wild, I think, how that happens. Because it's not like it's the same with each kid. You just take one kid and isn't it wild how you can look at him and sometimes you're like, oh, it was me.
Yeah, I know. A lot. A lot.
Yeah. And some of the stuff I think that kind of comes out are things that you don't even realize that you've trained. Sometimes I think it's like character traits. My brother, actually, my parents are divorced and we don't have any, like, I have no memories of my parents together, which I know my brother doesn't either because he's younger. So we didn't grow up in the same house with our dad, but we saw him every other weekend. But we didn't do so many things with my dad that my brother would be just like him. But there are times he does, it's like certain little expressions and his reaction and the way he will then call to his wife or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my dad. Do you ever have that?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Paul thinks that like me and my mom are like the apple of the tree, you know?
That's hilarious.
I'm a lot like her. And Jason's a lot like me.
Oh, really?
A boy version of me.
That's fun. I just recently, I forget where I heard this or read this, but I just recently learned, if it's true, who knows, but that children get their athleticism from their mother.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
Makes sense. Jason isn't super athletic. Well, he is. He's like a ninja. Like ninja athletic. Like strong. But not so great at team sports. At this point.
Yeah.
He's done better on his own. And that's okay, as long as he doesn't.
Yeah, I feel so honored. That's cool. Now, give me 2 words for your husband. When you think of your husband, somebody goes, tell me about your husband. What do you say? Or what comes to mind?
Oh gosh. He's one of the smartest people I know. So he's very intelligent. And he thinks he's hilarious, but he's pretty funny. He keeps us laughing.
Okay, but is he funny all the time?
Not all the time.
Okay, let's just talk about that for a second, because my husband thinks he
thinks he's funny all of the time.
Oh, and you, I'm so glad you are validating me. You have no idea right now, because my husband and I have this ongoing banter back and forth. He's like, I am always funny. I'm like, you are, and I'm dead serious. I'm like, you really are not always funny. And he's like, oh, but I am. Just because you don't think I'm funny doesn't mean I'm not funny. And I'm like, no, you really are not always funny. And I'll joke with him and be like, now your sister, now she's funny. And he's like, that's not true. You know, like we just kind of have fun with that. But he thinks he's always funny. So I'm really glad to hear another wife say, no, he's really not funny. Although my husband is quite funny. It's just not all the time. Minor detail, but it's a very important detail. I find it funny that you say he's very smart, because when I had him on, he said you're a firecracker and you call him on his stuff. And he said, everybody looks at me, he's like, oh, well, what is this? Or, you know, he will have to, he's like that. I sound very smart, and I could tell them things and they just believe me and take me at my word, until you were like, I'm going to check that out and double check you and then call him on his stuff. So I think that is really funny and interesting that you would say he's very smart.
He's right most of the time. But when I'm right, it is like, I'm like, write it down, record it, never let me live it down.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. And you cut hair, right? Is that your hairstylist? What is your favorite? I have this ongoing, right now I'm in this ongoing love-hate relationship with my hair. I've always loved, like, to me, having healthy hair is super important to me. So I don't like product in my hair. I don't like, I just, I have all these things. And I recently just recorded another hairstylist, and I have all these questions because right now I feel like I'm in this love-hate relationship with my hair, because I just went through, I had cancer in 2024. And then I had no idea. I had cervical cancer, had a hysterectomy. I'm cancer-free, but I went from like straight hair to just a couple cowlicks to then, due to, I guess, you have dogs like I do. That's the sound of an alive house.
It's just a car across the street. Just two cars are turning around. They're psychotic.
So then I went through, like, within a day, my hair just kind of got curly. It was the wildest experience. It just was like, oh my gosh, I didn't blow dry my hair, and it just brought out curls. And then,
did it change color at all? Did it come back a different color?
No, I didn't lose any hair. It was just, I think menopause was induced due to this, having a hysterectomy. Didn't have any chemo, like I didn't have to go through chemo, thank God. But it was, I guess, the jolt of menopause on the system that it went curly. And I was like, oh, finally, because you know what? My favorite hairstyle that I would go back, and I tell hairstylists all the time, can you please tell me when the spiral beach curl comes back? Because I'll be the first one in line to pay for a spiral perm, because it was easy. There's no like, there's.
I remember the mousse and the gel, and
I didn't even use that because it was just naturally would sit just right. Like I never put product in my hair. I love it, and I don't take a lot of time to do a lot of the pamper hours, girl. I'm like, I can't. So I always love to talk to hairstylists because I find the body fascinating, but it's also
a lot comes out. Like you can tell a lot from someone's hair.
Like what?
I mean, like stress. Like you can the stress inside someone's body, like when they're going through stuff like it. You can see in there.
Yeah, that's weird.
Not all the time, but a lot of time.
The stress, yeah.
Crazy.
My mom went through that for COVID. Like she was, and it was like,
did she lose so much hair?
It was kind of scary for her. Like she was really freaked out, which understandably, freaked out. She had this beautiful long hair. It's probably the longest she's ever had it. And it was just falling out in clumps. And it was like, oh my word, it was scary. And then
when you get,
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, when you get sick, when you lose weight, when you go through a divorce, or your parent dies, and most likely because you're not eating what you should be, but also because your hair is your body can shut that system off and not feed it, where it can't stop your heart from working or your lungs,
That's funny.
So it's just hair.
The other
hairstyle,
my hairstylist who I recorded with, she said the same thing. She's like, your body will conserve the energy here to put it towards other places that need it. It's just fascinating.
Survival.
Yeah, survival. It's really amazing how the body is built. So what do you love most? Because like some hairstylists love like, just give me curl, just give me cuts, just give me, what's your thing?
I like this is weird maybe. I like the relationship that I have with a lot of my clients. I love to do their hair. Some of them I've done their hair for like 17 years. And even if it's just a root touch up and not like a major transformation, that's okay.
Yeah.
And I always know what's going on in their life with their kids, their grandkids, their husband, all their doctor's appointments, like the relationships I have with my people.
Yeah.
I love. And of course I love doing hair. I love cutting, coloring.
Cut and color.
Yeah.
I would think
it's fun. I get to do something fun.
Yeah.
And be with people. I like people.
Well, and that's really a trust relationship because it's like between cutting your hair and finding a doctor, I feel like those are two major things that take a lot of trust. Because you get a bad haircut and you just want to hide until your hair goes.
Bangs too, if it's like right up front. But I've always done jobs where I work with people. That's what I was going to say. Like I worked at the grocery store when I was little, and then I was a teacher, and now I do.
So are you more of an extrovert?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah. So like being around people really energizes you.
Yes. And go. All the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. Now, when we first talked, did you say you volunteer?
I volunteer.
What do you do?
At school and at the church.
What do you do? So tell me about that. What do you do?
So church, I just do kids check-ins. Okay. We were doing a home team, but Paul started traveling, and so that's a lot because Paul can't just like meet and order pizza. He has to make a gourmet dinner. Host home team. So it became a lot for right now, for this season. So we're taking a break with that. But he teaches first through third at church, and then I do kids check-ins. And then I'm on the PTA board at the school, and I do the workroom. The past 2 years, I've done the workroom. So every Wednesday morning, I only miss maybe like 2 or 3 a year around the holidays. We're cutting and laminating and making copies and helping the teachers so they don't have to stay late and do all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've always been a volunteer. I don't know.
You just like to stay busy.
Yeah.
Around people.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you say, wow, we have a lot in common as far as I think our spouses. Humor is a big deal to your spouse and mine. They're pretty silly. But the other thing they have in common is this whole cooking thing, because Patrick has finally owned it. He'll say, I could take the most simple and make it complicated. Like let's not order pizza. Let's make our own.
You can't just have a chicken and a vegetable and rice or something. There has to be a sauce, and it has the blend, the medley of spices, like one has to balance the other, and it's like a whole science. And
and your husband.
I was not raised that way.
No, I don't like cooking. I cook because I have to. My husband cooks because he enjoys it. Like it's kind of therapeutic for him. He could kind of get lost, and it probably brings out a creative side, but he's a foodie at heart. So he just loves to eat, and he loves to, I think, feed people, because I think it's one of his love languages as well. But he has to, it's funny because we have 5 kids, and it's only our 2 younger ones that are still at home. And my 25-year-old is a foodie too, and she'll eat all the things. She'll say, well, I'm a princess, I'm gonna request like even more things. And then my younger one and I were like, can we just have a simple meal? Can we just have like salad, chicken, and bread or whatever? my daughter likes rice. So like something simple like that.
Yeah.
And they'll come down, and he cooks a Sunday dinner. It became a tradition like the last 3 years, I think it is. And my youngest will come down and be like, how much longer until dinner, Mom? And I'm like, and he's kind of picked up this phrase. It started like, we're in the home stretch. And she's like, ugh. I'm like, Sam, have a snack. Just have a snack. It's going to be a little bit. And she gets hangry, which I always thought that was just a bunch of baloney until I had a 5th child. And my number 4 will go, just give her food. Because she's like, she's getting hangry, and she really changes. But yeah, our spouse, it just seems like, why do you have to make it so hard? Just make rice. Like last night, my husband did he was making chicken and rice. He grilled the chicken. So I prepped it. He grilled it, and corn on the cob. He was going to do that on the grill, and then he was going to make some rice. All right, well, just put it in a pot and make some rice. That's what I would do. He's like, Sam, do you like roasted rice? And she's like, oh, how long is that going to take? He's like, oh, when he got all done with the rice, he's like, can we just have a moment of silence just to enjoy what just happened? Like he was like, and she's like, can we just eat? But that's what they love.
Very similar. Yep. Very similar.
Yep. I love, so your husband shared with me the picture of you guys doing the polar plunge. You've done a polar plunge in your own pool. What?
Not regularly, just once.
What brought that on again? Because he told me, and I don't remember.
We were on lockdown, right? I think it was like freezing. It was when Texas was like frozen, how it does every year too. And someone on Facebook had posted their polar plunge, and I was like, I think we were like 3 or 4 days in. I mean, it was really dull around here at that point. I've cleaned out the refrigerator and the freezer.
What else can we do?
I've done all the laundry, all the linens. What else can we do? So we needed some excitement.
So polar plunge, that seems brutal.
It was brutal. It was really cold.
But and I think I even said to your husband, like, he was like, in his little Speedo. He's like, you could see him like running. And I was like, your wife is just like, dun, 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 dun. Like it was no big deal. I was like, you would never know that woman was cold because you just showed no response.
I was cold. It was cold.
Are you super athletic?
I work out.
Okay.
Work out.
Well,
but I have 2 herniated. I don't want to talk about it right now. I have 2 herniated discs.
Oh, can we just talk about that? Because
I'm barely working out. Like I look like a weakling at the gym, but I'm trying not to make it work.
I've had back surgery due to herniated disc. Yeah, actually today.
I don't want surgery.
Do you know what's interesting? I used to say the same thing. 2015, it was actually, today's my anniversary. It was 11 years ago today. I had back surgery. Love to work out. One of my dreams that I really look forward to. I am not competitive, so I'm not an athlete, but I'm athletic. Love to work out. Love to be in the gym. I couldn't wait for my kids to get old enough so that I could dance. We always danced in the kitchen, dance around the house, dance with them, and work out with them. Love it. And my middle kids, who were all my kids besides my youngest, is athletic. My 2 middle ones played ball all through college, football, basketball, and so they're pretty competitive. When my son Justin, my number 3 child, who's now 27, when he was in football, oh my gosh, it was like brutal to watch him have this workout. And my boys are pretty like disciplined, like I am. And to watch him work out and not really be able to do that was really hard. My back, it was always like I don't know about you, but like my back was always, lower back was always like my weak area. Had sciatic nerve. My first child was 9 pounds, 14 ounces. And it was just this like weak prone area. And then it went out and it went down for the count, and it was 3 months. It was like, I don't want surgery. You hear, if you just look up back surgery, you see all those contradictions. Like, it doesn't work, don't do it, it'll do more harm. And
Right.
I want to keep everything.
My brother said once you start, then it's always going to hurt. And that was his experience. So that.
Yeah. Well, mine was 3 months. So they, I had to take pain meds. I had to go to the emergency room. I had to get pain meds. I didn't want to. I don't even like taking medicine. They wound up putting me eventually on 5 within 3 months. And that was a really hard season.
That sounds miserable. Just the medicine. It's taking the medicine. Because they put me on gabapentin and I was like, whoa. Paul was like, you were miserable for like that whole month. But it took me a month to realize that's what was making me miserable. I thought it was my pain, but I think it was the gabapentin also.
Oh, wow. It's interesting you say that, because gabapentin for me actually was the one that I felt helped somewhat. They put me on 4 other really strong medications, to the point where emergency doctor called me to say, I will not prescribe anymore for you, which was just the grace of God, because I don't know where I would have ended up, honestly, with the one that they were prescribing. Yeah. One doctor prescribed it. It didn't go through my insurance because of how potent it was. And really, it was a God moment. That it was like, no, you just have to get that surgery, which gave me peace to go ahead and do it. And I don't know if I would have done it differently, but knowing what I know now, I would have just done the surgery. In that, they went in and cleaned out. I blew my L4, L5, and they went in and cleaned up. And the doctor said, we took 3 big fragments out. We just cleaned you up. You should be good to go. I think your nerves are fine. I still have, I have different pain today, but I was up walking that same day of surgery, and I've never had that kind of pain again. So that's amazing. I would do it again just to clean that up. But they also told me I need to get my back fused. And that's the one I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it. Yeah. Because once you go there.
I think that's what my brother had done. He has like the degenerative disc, and some of his is up here. But mine is where yours is. Mine's my L5, S1, and L4, L5.
Yeah. Very common. They also say that happens. I don't know if it's true, but what I've been told by several doctors is that actually happens more with people who are more athletic, because.
Well, I'm pretty freaking sure I did something at the gym.
Is that where you did it, at the gym?
At least to aggravate it. Well, like it didn't happen overnight. It was like a slow progression. And then because I'm at the gym lifting weights, if I do have a little bit of pain, I just kind of push through it a lot of time. And then, I was going to the chiropractor, the stretch trainer, the getting massages. And so I was like, after I think 3 or 4 months, I was like, I guess I better go to the doctor.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what we do. We push through.
I know. And now that I'm in my 50s, I'm like, that really just doesn't work anymore. I'm paying the price for pushing through. I wish I would have loved on myself, because I would have told everybody else to do that. And I didn't, but lessons learned. Marriage. Let's talk marriage, because we both have been through facing divorce, the possibility of facing divorce. It's interesting when I talk to Paul, your husband. I feel like him and I could complete each other's sentences. Some of the stuff he writes in his book, which, by the way, for anybody who hasn't gotten it yet, if you are married, you should just read this period, because every marriage goes through difficult times. I just think it's really encouraging. It's super easy to read. But every marriage will have to fight for that marriage somehow. It may not be that you actually contemplate divorce, but you have to fight for it. And I think what I really get jazzed about with you and your husband is you two also, I think, have a heart to help people get to a place of better than they've ever been, much like my husband and I do. Like, we've been there, done that. You can too, because there is no story, I think, that's so great that can't come back and rebound and be rebuilt differently. For sure. I think sometimes the hardest part is being willing to see beyond all the pain. you know?
Yeah.
Take me to prior to the rebuild. Take me to what it was like as the crumbling was happening, because I think some people, like my husband and I, we're not verbal fighters. You know, we're not contentious. We are peacekeepers.
We weren't either.
Nobody in our community knew that we were miserable. Matter of fact, my husband, his own words, he says these words: I was fat, dumb, and happy. I lived like a bachelor, and I didn't realize how miserable you were and how lonely I left you. And I was angry, you know, but deep down it's just a lot of hurt because I longed for the closeness, and we just didn't have, neither one of us knew what to do, and both of us were at fault. So take me to what it was like prior to you. I think it was on your birthday you came home and you just said,
well, overall, and I don't know if me and your husband are the same in this way, but overall I don't want to say completely checked out, but pretty damn checked out. I mean, I was at the bar with my friends, whenever. Not every day, but every other, more than I should be, having a little kid at home, you know? And I wasn't there with my husband. So drinking was, that was my part in the divorce, you know, and then all the terrible stuff that comes with drinking, you know?
Sure.
I was not super pleasant to be around. And then he was doing whatever. You know, we were just
self-medicating,
living two different lives, but under the same.
Us too.
You know? So.
Yeah, and not necessarily fighting. It checked out is right. Well,
yeah, we got it. Like, everything was fine. The laundry was done. Dinner was cooked. Like, Jace was happy.
Yeah.
But we're just walking through the moment.
Yeah, I call it robot mode.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more like we managed a home well as far as, you know, getting through what needed to be taken care of. And my argument with my husband, I don't know if you felt this way, my husband was like, I said, we've never had intimacy. I was at the point, I was like, we never will. I was so done. Did you feel that way? Like we just,
it wasn't important to me, you know.
It wasn't important to you.
It wasn't important at that time. I mean,
yeah. But were you checked out and you didn't even necessarily long for it, or did you long for it but you just didn't feel it with him? Do you know?
Oh, I think I longed for it, but I think I needed to go through a lot of freaking therapy. Like, I think I needed a lot of work before I could be good for anybody, including my son, you know?
Sure.
But, yeah. And then came the hard way.
So then what finally drove you? Because what finally drove you to have that conversation? Like, what was the final straw that you felt that you finally had to just say it?
Oh, I'm sure some of my friends that I was drinking with, I mean, that I no longer am friends with, you know, misery loves company every time. Every time.
And I think misery loves company. It's like bad social media, right? It's like just go hang out with the friends who you know are going to help you lick your wound. Just be like, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like what you can find friends that will accept any horrible habit that you have if you find the right group of friends. You know what I mean? That's definitely not what you should do. But I mean, there's, you know, and feed your ego and whatever with all of that.
It's like you have to go have that conversation.
I'll be your roommate. Well, you know, we can be roommates. You don't need a husband. Sure. Like, what?
And you're like, yeah, I don't need a husband.
And I'm like,
we see it way too often. Yeah.
In society makes it so easy, but I mean, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up.
Yes.
To start a family with Paul, and why not figure all this shit out and be happy? Then give up, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people say, you know, it's just too hard. And I used to say these words, like, we have so much work. I don't see an end in sight because there's just so much work. And some people are like, it's just not worth it. And I think they just get hopeless. And we always say, like, we've tried everything. I use these, we tried everything. We didn't try everything, but it certainly felt that way. It certainly felt that way.
A lot of these people have not tried what me and Paul tried and what you and your husband tried. I mean, I went to therapy 3 nights a week when I first got sober, to my IOP, intensive outpatient group. 3 hours a night. I think it was 4 days a week for 3 or 4 months. Like, Paul sacrificed for me so that I could go get better. You know, and then all the while he's doing his therapy, and we're also doing marriage therapy. And I'm also going to AA meetings. Like, it was a lot. A lot. Like, looking back, it's like, but I guess if I had time to be at the bar drinking all the time, I had time to do all of that.
Yeah, and I think that we tell ourselves this story like it's just going to be so much work. But what people I don't think realize when they're in the spiral heading down is I now can honestly look somebody in the face and go, you have no idea actually how much work it's taking you to stay where you're at too. But we think we checked out. I'm not going to do any of this. It's like, it takes a lot of work. It's become a habit that we drink or we do whatever form of self-soothing and self-numbing that we choose. But that too takes a lot of work. So, and people also think it's going to be so much harder to get well. But do you realize the hard life you're living now? So, like, if you want
it's hard both
just
ways.
Do the hard and do the harder to get to the better rather than to stay in this pit that you're in. You know, like, it's like, and yet I get it. It's like you get tired. So I
day in and day out. It's like Groundhog Day. You know, just the same day over and over again. When you're in that, like, zombie state of just make it through today.
So then what was I'm curious, what was the turning point for you personally where you're like, okay, we're going to make it. We just have work to do. What was that moment for you?
I think it started, as horrible as this is, because we're being honest, right? It started as I don't want to really get sober. Because that was my part in all of this. I don't want to get sober, but I don't want to lose my kids. You know, like, I don't want to share my kids 50-50 with somebody. And then it's like, as I started working on myself, we fell back in love. Because he was also working on himself, you know, like, we chose, you know, to work.
Okay, so it's like, the mirror. You're a great.
But at one point, it was still a survival thing. It was, no, I don't want to lose my kids. You know, I don't necessarily know if I want to be married to you or not, but I don't want to lose Jade. But once I got better, then, you know, I couldn't imagine.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And I would be devastated if we had.
Yeah, actually, God used.
And there were other people, like family members, that are like, oh, well, I'll help you. So you know, that also didn't care if we got a divorce.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and it could have been the easy way out, but I'm thank God it wasn't. I wouldn't have the relationship I have with either one of them. I wouldn't have the relationship I have with Jesus, my Lord and Savior. I wouldn't, you know.
You know, it's interesting. Mine's the same thing. I even said to Patrick, literally, God one day said to me, Dana, do you want to get well? Like, stop me in my room. Still lived in Jersey. Do you want to get well? And I'm like, have you not heard a single prayer I'm shooting up here? I was so mad that he would ask me that. And I was just like, that's not fair. You know, don't you hear? I see what he's doing? Don't you see what he's doing? Why are you? Of course. Do you not hear any of my prayers? And God is just so good to not, or he never argues back. And he asked me a second time, he goes, Dana, do you want to get well? And at that point, I knew that was a serious question. Not one that I was answering anything about my husband. He wasn't asking me, Dana, do you want to be married? Dana, do you want to make this work with him? Dana, anything. He's like, do you want to be well? And I was like, so I had to give it a real serious thought. I was like, okay, God's not joking here. So I took a breath. And he said, look, I have heard every single one of your prayers. I caught every tear that you've cried. But you are your biggest problem. You're not the problem or a problem, but you are your biggest problem. Your kids need you. Go ahead and get divorced if you like. Your kids need you. Then what? And just like you, my kids were they're it. God knows what is our motivator. And I was like, I can't look at that child's face, these children's faces. I've gone through this before. I cannot do this again. And it was like, I didn't even have the fight for me, but I had the fight for them. And it was like, I felt so backed in a corner. I was like, this isn't fair. Why am I the one who always has to do the work? I was so mad, but I was like, but they're worth it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That was a turning point for me. And my husband, like literally moments later, and the Lord said to me, sit down and call that counselor. Because we were going to trying all these different counselors. None of them worked. Some of them, we've had one tell us, I don't even know what this intimacy thing is you're talking about. Like basically sex is sex, and like this oneness and intimacy. Yeah, I don't know. And others are like, maybe you should get divorced.
I don't know if that person should be a marriage therapist.
Yeah. So some of them agreed with me, which only built my fight with my husband. And some of them were on his, like, saw it his way, which then, was his armor and power.
There was a therapist Paul saw once, and then he wanted to bring me in. And then it was during all of that. And I only saw her a couple of times because I was still in defense mode. Yep. And nope, she's on your side. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, she wasn't the right therapist for us.
Yeah.
But I was not ready to give it up at that time, obviously.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I bring all this up is because you said, you didn't want to give up the drinking, and it wasn't until you did the mirror work, basically, which is the same story for my husband and I. And it's the same story for every single one that has continually has chosen to do the mirror work, has not tried to change the other person, and then just kept doing the mirror work. It's the only way it makes it. And it's the only way you actually live well the rest of your life, because you cannot. You've probably, like, you guys are in this. When was it that you guys decided to do the mirror work? Like, how long into this process are you right now?
I should be, 2020 is like when everything fell apart.
So you've been on,
and then the rebuilding started.
Yeah. And it's an ongoing.
And then I had a relapse with drinking in 2022 when my grandma died. They died consecutive days. Like the day after Thanksgiving, my mom's mom died, and then my dad's mom died the next day. So I drank some then and lied about it, and then it was kind of like starting back over.
So did you say you almost died?
And all of that. No, my grandma.
Oh,
died.
Okay.
My grandma.
Okay.
No, like it was at like 2022 Thanksgiving weekend was the worst.
Yeah.
So that was like a dip down. Like progress isn't always, linear.
No, wouldn't you agree? The relapse or even a step back is not ultimately a failure if you continue to move forward and learn from that and keep going. I just think so much of the work is keep going.
For sure.
So much of, like, but still to this day, I would have to say, when I struggle, it so often is I get stuck in the mirror work, and I get stuck in a pain where I can just point the finger and be like, that hurt, or it hurts so bad that I can't even say it. And because I'm more of the stuffer, and I could get stuck in the, like, then how do we move forward? Because this really hurt. And I think it's a daily, hourly, just look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Because the more I do that and focus there, the less offended I live, the less, keeping my walls up. My walls stay down when I do the mirror work. And I think that's the success of rebuild, because rebuilds, there's seasons. Like sometimes we're tearing down walls. Wouldn't you agree? And other times, this is a season where maybe he doesn't even have it to give me, and it's a season of, or vice versa, of endurance. And
but if you're communicating and you're not completely checked out, that's the difference, you know.
Yeah, and I think the more you stare at the other person rather than yourself is ultimately you are your biggest problem. Right. Well, and so what does daily, or I should say regular maintenance look like for you? How do you continually take care of yourself holistically? What are the things you do?
Like take care of me, like personally.
That are like your non-negotiables. Like I need this or I fall back.
I need to go to the gym. Like I need to get to the gym like 3 times a week for my mental health, more than my physical health. At one time I needed to check in with my therapist, you know, once a week. I'm not at that place anymore, but he's a phone call away, and I have utilized that, you know. I don't necessarily need to go to AA anymore. You know, there are people that need that, and that's great, and that they should go, and that's why it's there. It's a great support. But for me right now, there's other things that if I only have so many hours in the day, I need to make it to the gym more than I need to make it to meetings. For me personally. So, but I know it's different for everyone.
Yeah, well, and I think
but the gym is like huge.
Yeah. Well, it's a release, right? And I think movement, to me, I learned in my own life, movement is so key. Otherwise you sit in that swirl of your own stuff, and it's like sludge for me.
Yes. And I think I'm with people all the time. You know, that's my thing. I love to be with people. But when I go to the gym, I put my headphones in and completely check out, and, you know, music. Paul listens to podcasts and self-help and books.
Yeah.
And I listen to like whatever, 90s rap.
Yeah.
Or it might be worship music. It might be 90s pop.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
But. What have you learned about yourself through your own? Because I think a lot of people, you know, when you come out of, you could get stuck in carrying shame, right? You could get stuck in beating ourselves up, being critical. Some of us are perfectionists. But I think, you know, you guys talk about getting sober, and I talked about this with Paul, and we tend to have these conversations. Codependency, addiction and codependency, they go hand in hand. And so it's interesting, when I was getting well and I was looking at past relationships, and how I cope and how I deal with relationships and all that, I had to take a look at my own. It's where I learned, somebody told me about Codependency No More, that book, Codependency No More. And I literally was weeping because I had, I think, every sentence highlighted, checked, circled, marked. Oh my gosh, that's me. Oh my gosh, that's me. A book nailed me back then, like in my early years of getting well, except for like one sentence like that I didn't relate in that book. But like, two broken people are magnets for each other. And I looked at every other relationship I had in my life, like, wow, we were magnets. Because the woman I am today would never put up with some of the stuff I used to put up with or used to get like connected to. There were types of people. And I think addictions, those relationships, it goes hand in hand with codependency.
Yeah. I think like where you come from, like childhood, like the way your family dynamic growing up, like mine was very dysfunctional. So then I thrived off of that when it came to, relationships, friendships, whatever, you know. And with Paul, there is no dysfunction. He wouldn't argue with me like if I tried, you know. He's not going to have like some throw down, knock down, drag out fight. But that's what a lot of my prior relationships.
Because did you, like, I used to, and a lot of people do, it's like, why do I get with all the jerks? And honestly, God said to me,
I mean, I was obviously looking for that.
well, I think in the very dysfunctional way, you can smell and pick those people out in a crowd who is going to, it's a magnet. Your own brokenness is a magnet to somebody else's. God even said to me, you dated what matched your self-esteem, your worth. You dated that. Yep, you're 100% right. And so is where I think it's like, gosh, stop worrying about trying to white knuckle and not do the activity that you know is hurting you, or don't try to like not. I even tell people, don't even worry about the friends that you're like, don't worry about anybody else. Actually, just start doing the mirror work, and those other longings.
Oh, those friends will drop off anyway, most of them, and you will not even care.
As opposed to not doing the work and trying not to hang out with him, then you're just like, you long for it because you're not doing the work. So you're not filling it with anything different, right?
But once you're better, you just automatically, those things just don't fit into your life anymore. You won't even have to probably make the decision. It just kind of naturally, you just naturally just don't even want that anymore. That was my experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be with my husband and my kids, you know, than out at the bar. Like, I still don't know how I even did. Obviously, I wasn't doing things I needed to do, you know?
Yeah. And but instead of, I see it, and I think for me, I don't even look at it like, I don't know. I don't want to do those things anymore. I think because one, I think you get closure on some things, right? Of the past. It just kind of, you're able to lay that stuff down. But I don't like the way it makes me feel anymore. It's like, it just doesn't, that stuff doesn't even satisfy. And I don't look at people like, oh, why are you in a bar? I've had people say, like, oh, come on, just do one shot with me. Like, you don't have to get drunk. And I'm like, I really don't.
But why? Like,
it just doesn't.
If it's not going to do something better for me at this point, like, why?
Yeah, and I don't look down on people who do drink. It's not like I go, ooh, drinking's bad. I don't think that at all. I just think, because I don't have interest. You want to go to the gym? You want to go for a walk? Like, I'll do that, or we'll do something else. But
I'll go thrifting with you.
And I grew up 70s, 80s was, you know, like I was born in the 70s. It was a very, we did our share of having fun in the 80s. And but a lot of it, I look back, I'm like, man, what a waste of time. Actually, it was fun. I used to be a bartender. Like, oh, it's like, it's such a nothing's. Yeah. But I loved meeting the people. Like, on the other side of this, like, I really liked meeting some of these people, and yet none of it will ever top what I have in my marriage today. And you know, it's a different kind of peace, right? Do you think your son sees a difference? Do you know if he sees a difference in the two of you?
I hope he doesn't ever remember the way I was before. And I don't think he will. I mean, that's the lucky thing for me, is he was, so I quit drinking when he was only 4, you know, so he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
But he is around my family still today, so he knows what, you know, drinking looks like.
Yeah.
So, in our limited interaction.
Yeah, you know, I think some of the greatest, I don't know, people that the mirror work that we do is not only for us, but we can only do it for us, right? I couldn't do it for my husband. Right. I have to choose. Somebody's got to choose to do it.
I started because of my kid. You know what I mean? Like, that was my initial push, you know, was everything was for him. But at some point it has to be for you.
Yeah. Well, I find the coolest thing is, you know, our kids are our motivation, you and I. And I think the one getting well, the one it impacts beyond ourselves and our spouse, obviously, is our kids, which is generational. Right? It's like, it's generational. And I just think that's it's worth it. I'm so glad I did. And
I pray that I'm breaking this generational.
But don't,
I used to think that was so stupid when people said that. until I knew what that meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. I also understand the feeling when people are like, I don't know if I could do it. Yeah, I get that too. You know, it's not always the easy decision or the one that you even feel in the moment. But there comes a place in everybody's life, I think you just have to go, yeah, okay, something's got to change. I can't force anybody else. So me is all I've got. I'm the only one who's responsible for me. And I think that's, until somebody else gets there, you can't make somebody change. Yeah. Your husband says this one quote in his book. It's actually the chapter 3, Let It Begin With Me. And he says, marriages aren't found, they're built. Wouldn't you agree? Because here's why I'm asking this. So many people, our younger selves, as well as if we look at, you know, our kids eventually when they get to this age, and I think young adults, people who are single and longing for marriage. Do you remember before you even got married, you're like, what a married life is going to be like, and it's just going to be wonderful, and he's wonderful, and
it was going to be a fairy tale,
right?
And just cruising through life.
And you don't ever imagine a fight, the arguments, the distance, the withdrawal, the lukewarmness, the disappointment. You'd never think of those things. And I've only married somebody once in my entire life. It was one of the more fulfilling. It was such a honor to do that. And it was one of those, I felt the responsibility to say, and I wish more would do this. Is, guys, marriage is wonderful. It's the sweetest thing, apart from your relationship with God. It's the sweetest thing. Believe it or not, it can be even better than parenting if you let it, but it will require you to fight for it at times, because marriage just doesn't happen. If you think it's just going to happen, it most likely will fall apart, but every marriage is going to be challenged. There's going to be times, and I have them look at each other like, you're going to disappoint each other. You might even betray each other. You're going to hurt each other. You're going to let each other down. You're going to whatever. Now, will you still say yes?
But I think nothing prepares you for actually going through that. It's like being a parent. You can tell them, all this,
absolutely,
how being a parent is going to be, but like you cannot imagine, you know, what it's really like.
Totally agree.
To be and to live with someone 24/7, day in, day out, good, bad, and ugly, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And all the problems that will arise that you can't even, you know, three appliances breaking in your house in a week, you know, your washing machine being down for the third time, your brand new washing machine being down for the third time in 3 months, you know, like crazy stuff. Like that.
It's the daily, and you never know what's going to push somebody else, you know, like over the edge with just like how they react, how they, you know, and respond, and what they do, and how they communicate or don't communicate, you know, all those things. And I just think it's really worth it. And when I see other couples who actually have gone through the fire and have come out on the other side, and every day it's a rebuilding, right? It's one brick at a time, one day, one experience, one conversation at a time. And it's a beautiful life, but it will take you beyond your comfort zone. And some days you're going to want to quit. That's part of the process. I just think that's the journey. And wanting to quit, meaning I'm just so weary, I don't want to put the brick on today, you know?
But it's like with your kids, you can't quit on your kids. You can't quit on yourself.
Yeah. I had a moment in my own journey. It was early on, and I just really, it was as God was telling me to do the mirror work. I was driving home from my therapist at the time. I was driving home from an appointment, and literally he just said to me, because at that point I was still like, I don't know if I'm going to get divorced or not, because that seemed like way too much work. And at that moment in time, God just said to me, look, Dana, what I put together, you have no right to separate. And I was like, out of my heart, just said, God,
You can't argue with that.
and I just said, God, I don't know why I am the way I am. I don't know why I don't trust. I don't know why this, and this. But if you could help me understand why I am the way I am, I'd be forever grateful. And then that began my journey, because that really was like, I took all the strings off Patrick, really, and it was fully on me to understand me. And you know what? Divorce at that point in time was never an option anymore. But if you're half in, half out, you're really half out. You can't be fully in if you're half out.
If you're not 100% in and actively doing the work, then you're not in. You're not. You can say you are, so that when you quit, that, oh, well, I tried, but lots of people that we know that said they tried.
Yeah.
Didn't.
Yeah. And
society makes it so easy, and accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the same.
Yeah, because we have to be so independent. Is that right? Last question. What would have been let me ask it this way. What would have been the greatest thing you would have missed, like that you enjoy now, that, man, I'm glad I made this decision because I would have missed that in my marriage?
He is the best. He's just the best. Like, watching him achieve things that I don't think that he ever thought he could achieve.
Yeah.
And, and seeing like the joy that it brings him, and seeing him help kids from 1st to 3rd grade, then the teenagers and adults, that's what I told him the other day. It's like all different. You're like a mentor for those kids. And he's like, and I was like, yeah. And you're like a mentor for new people in the church. Like, you are just like, he's a great dude. And I'm glad we stuck it.
I love that. I love that for your child. And let me just say, on behalf of like all kids, I said this to your husband, thanks for doing the work, because it impacts the next generation. And as a kid who's gone through divorce, I just want to say, on behalf of the kids who really struggle internally, I just want my parents to make it, and they argue all the time and they don't like each other. Like, thanks for doing the hard work, because it really affects your kids and grandkids more than I think we ever really realize. So I love that. Thanks for being on. Thanks for hanging out with me. Last thing. Oh, can we talk really quick? You're a mom who has a child. Is it celiac, or he's gluten intolerant, right?
So nothing shows up on blood work.
Okay.
He is healthy as a horse, in that if you ask the doctors. But if you give him gluten, it goes right through. So he's not great.
Okay. Interesting. I was talking with Paul. He said
that's why his sourdough thing started originally.
Yeah.
And Jace can pretty much eat the sourdough, and we can, there's things that we know that will upset his stomach. And sometimes he wants a real tortilla, and he just knows he's gonna have a stomach ache. And
was that a long process to figure out that it was gluten?
Well, when he was little, we used to just think like he was playing so much, he was holding it too long.
Yeah.
Because the pediatrician, you talk to the pediatrician about it, and you're like, oh, that would never be my kid pooping his pants at 4 or 5, know. But then when you find out something's really wrong, it's like, aw. And then you feel terrible that, you thought it was like behavioral. So, and it wasn't behavioral. It was because he was eating gluten all the time.
Yeah. How'd you figure that out?
Poor buddy. The same way we figured out he couldn't have red dye. Just one day, it was like, there's got to be something. There's got to be something going on. Like, and then we started really looking at.
Yeah. Interesting.
The diet. Oh. He doesn't like milk. If he has a lot of milk, he'll say his stomach hurts, which I'm the same way. I don't like a lot of milk.
Yeah.
But I don't have a specific allergy.
Yeah. Sensitivity. Yeah. Wow. It's interesting. We have our own diet stuff going on over here too. So I thought I'd ask.
It's always something.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging with me today.
We'll
have to do this again.